Hello children, welcome to your new class and classroom. How do you do? Missing school, class, friends, naughtiness? What to do? Let us focus on what we have. Are you there in your cell with your cell phone? You must be thinking what ma'am is talking about. Do you know meaning of cell? It means compartment. And cell phone does not require any explanation. Yes, you guessed right. Today in biology, we are going to start the chapter Cell, Structure and Functions. You have learned already that living organisms, there are living organisms and non-living things, right? So living body are made up of cells. So the cells certainly that, and you have also read in class 7 the life processes, some of the life processes read. And in this life process certainly organisms body have got a system. Actually I'm talking about that is the organisms which has got a complex body design like human being. We have certain systems in our body. Digestive system you read, excretory system, circulatory system you have read about. Now these systems which are made up of certain organs, and if you break the organ you will get that is these organs are made up of tissue, and tissues are nothing but group of cells. So ultimately you see the cells are the basic structural unit of life. So different sets of organs perform the various functions you have listed in this chapter. We shall learn about the basic structural unit of an organ, which is the cell. Cell may be compared to bricks. Bricks are assembled to make a building. Similarly, cells are assembled to make the body of every organism. Now, how cell was discovered? See, discovery of the cell. Robert Hooke in 1665 observed slices of cork under a simple magnifying device. Cork is a part of bark of a tree. Now, what is bark? So bark is actually the part, what is cork? Cork is the part of the bark of a tree. You have seen the bark, the outer part, like the skin of the trees. So the outer part of this, that is cork. He took thin slices of cork and observed them under a microscope. He noticed partition boxes or compartments in the cork slice. So that is when he observed this cork, thin slices of cork he have taken under the microscope, and he observed certain compartments, that means some partitioned boxes which were there. See here the diagram which has been given. He observed this, the cork cells as observed by Robert Hooke. These boxes appeared like honeycomb, like a honeycomb. He also noticed that one box was separated from the other by a wall or partition. Hooke coined the term cell for each box. What Hooke observed as boxes or cells in the cork were actually dead cells. So what he has observed, that was actually dead cells. Cells of living organisms could be observed only after the discovery of improved microscopes. So the microscope he used, it was not that much of, did not have that much of magnifying power. So because of that, it took long time to get to know about the various parts of the cell and about many other things in cell. Very little was known about the cell for the next 150 years after Robert Hooke's observation. Today we know a lot about cell structure and its functions because of improved microscopes having high magnification. So here we have learnt about, that is first the discovery of the cell. So what is cell and the discovery of the cell. Now let us see that is what is cell. Both bricks in a building and cells in the living organisms are basic structural units. Now see the houses which are being made, it is made up of walls. Now if you see the walls are actually made up of bricks. bricks one after another it is being placed, and actually it makes the structure of that wall. Now the walls are joined together, walls are built certain places and to get a covered area, a partitioned area, so that we say the compartment or the room. Right now which I have said about, that is you are there in your cell, that means you are there in your room. So that is this room or this apartment or this compartment which has been made by the walls. And walls, actually when you break the wall you get the, it is made up of bricks. So similar way the body is, if you see living organisms body which are made up of certain systems, as in human body already you read about certain systems. Now the systems which is made up of certain organs, and these organs if you break, you see that is organs are made up of tissues are made up of cells. So that means that's why cells are called the basic structural unit of a living body. So both bricks in a building and cells in the living organisms are basic structural units. The buildings, though built in of similar bricks, have different designs, shapes and sizes. Similarly, in living world, organisms differ from one another, but all are made up of cells. Cells in the living organisms are complex, living structure unlike non-living bricks. So it is the cells in the living organisms are complex. Cells cells in the living organisms are complex living structures unlike non-living bricks. Here you see the brick wall, the wall which is made up of bricks. Now one after another the bricks which are being placed and makes the wall. Next which we are going to learn about, that is the organisms show variety in cell number, shape and size. How do scientists observe and study the living cells? Now certainly these cells which are very small in size, they are microscopes which magnifies the object. Stains are used to color the parts of the cell to study the detailed structure. There are millions of living organisms. They are of different shapes and size. Their organs also vary in shape, size and number of cells. Let us study about some of them. Now number of cells. Can you guess the number of cells in a tall tree or in a huge animal like the elephant? The number runs into billions and trillions. Human body has trillions of cells which vary in shapes and sizes. Different groups of cells perform variety of function. Now human body has trillions of cells which vary in shapes and sizes. Different groups of cells perform a variety of functions. Different groups of cells perform a variety of functions. Organisms made more than one cell are called multicellular. Multi means many and cellular, that is cell. So organisms made of more than one cell are called multicellular. Multi means many, cellular, that is cell, multicellular organisms. The number of cells being less in smaller organism does not in any way affect the functioning of the organism. The cells may be less in number, but then too it does not affect the functioning of the organism. You will be surprised to know that an organism with billions of cells begin life as a single cell, which is the fertilized egg. The fertilized egg cell multiplies and the number of cells increases as development proceeds. So even we human being also, we start our life with a single cell, and that cell gradually divides and redivides, and ultimately it gives the shape of the human body. Later on we will be discussing this in other chapters. Look at figure 8.3, and A and B, both organisms are made up of single cell. So here I show you two organisms. One is amoeba and the other is paramecium. The first one amoeba and the second one, that is paramecium. This is amoeba and this is paramecium. The single cell organ, and both of these are single cell. The single cell organisms are called unicellular. Uni means one, cellular that means cell. Another term you get unicellular. Uni means one, and cellular, that is cell. So it is made up of one cell, both amoeba and paramecium. A single cell organism performs all the necessary functions that multicellular organism performs. What does it mean? A single cell organism performs all the necessary functions that multicellular organisms perform. A single cell organism like amoeba captures, so amoeba, the example is an example of single cell organism. Amoeba captures and digests food, respires, excretes, grows, and reproduces. All this which is shown in the multicellular organism. Some of this already you have read about this life processes in class 7, human being, the way human being does. So certainly we are multicellular organism, we are performing these functions like taking food, digesting it, respiring, excretion. So it is done by multicellular organism like human being, it is done by amoeba also. It is not that single cell, so they are having certain difficulties in performing these functions. Similar functions in multicellular organisms are carried out by groups of specialized cells forming different tissue. Tissues in turn form organs. So today up to this much. Let us just find out what we have read today. To sum up, the discovery of cell. Who discovered the cell? Robert Hooke in 1665 observed slices of cork under a simple magnifying device. Cork is a part of the bark of a tree. So what is cork? It is a part of the bark of a tree. And he observed the partition boxes or compartments in the cork slice. He also noticed that box was separated from the other by a wall or partition. Who coined the term cell? So who coined the term cell for each box? What Hooke observed as boxes or cells in the cork was actually dead cells. After the discovery of the cells, near about 150 years after Robert Hooke's observation, very little was known about the cell. Now today we know a lot about the cell structure and its function because of improved microscopes having high magnification power. Now what are cells? The basic structural units are cells. The buildings, though built of similar bricks, have different design, shape and size. Similarly, in the living world, the organisms differ from one another, but all are made up of cells. So cells in the living organisms are complex living structure, unlike non-living bricks. Now organisms show variety in cell number, shape and size. So first we discussed about number. Number, it may be unicellular or it may be multicellular. So human body has trillions of cells which vary in shape and sizes. Different groups of cells perform a variety of function. Next, multicellular, what are called multicellular, having many cells. And those who have got single cell, these are called unicellular organisms. Example of unicellular organisms, today we have learned two. One is amoeba and the other is paramecium. A single cell organism, though it has got a single cell, but it performs all the functions. A single cell organism like amoeba captures and digests food, respires, excretes, grow and reproduces. So all which is performed by a multicellular organism can be performed by a single celled organism also in their own way. So today up to this much. We will meet again in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Stay home, stay safe.